Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a local school lockdown ends safely, but parents say they were left in the dark. The communication breakdown sparking frustration. The Trump administration expands its Antifa crackdown overseas. And this winter's weather will vary dramatically across the country. Forecasters explain why. Here's a forecaster.
Well, for us, I don't think it's going to vary that widely, but we've got lots of sunshine and warm weather for the weekend. However, next week, things are looking good. We may pick up a little rain. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on.
And Congress prepares to vote on releasing more Epstein files. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is on assignment. Authorities say a standoff at a house in El Campo today was resolved peacefully. KULP radio reports that 41-year-old Victor Reveles was taken into custody after ICE agents entered his Robert Street home. He had been barricaded for several hours. El Campo police helped establish a perimeter around the house. ICE says Reveles had ties to a gang and had been deported from the U.S. twice before. Police also locked down Hutchins Elementary and the El Campo High School gym during the incident. Cuero ISD went into a brief lockdown earlier today, sparking concern among parents. 25 News Now's Amaya Norman is following the story and has the latest on what happened and how families are reacting.
Earlier today, Cuero ISD went into a lockdown, prompting quick response from law enforcement. But many parents say they were left with no answers for hours. Cuero ISD says staff and officers conducted a thorough check of the entire school. After searching each building, they determined there was no threat, calling the incident a false alarm. But a parent tells us they received no alerts from the district while the lockdown was happening and only learned about it well after it was over. Some say they were worried and frustrated with the lack of communication.
Well, you kind of get panicked. I mean, because, you trust that your kids are going to be safe with everything that's going on nowadays. You just never know. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, I know they try their best and they, want us to be vigilant with contact information, saving numbers and stuff like that. But honestly, they need to be, give us the same respect.
Parents also expressed how important it is for schools to send out alerts immediately when an incident happened. We reached out to the Cuero ISD, but the district wouldn't share any details. But PD confirmed a staff member accidentally activated an emergency alert. Don, back to you.
Maya, thank you. Federal forecasters say La Nina will shape this winter. The Climate Prediction Center confirmed the pattern Thursday, pointing to cooler than average Pacific waters along the equator. La Nina typically brings warmer conditions to the southern U.S., California, much of the East Coast, and colder weather in the Pacific Northwest and upper Midwest. The northern Rockies and Great Lakes could see more snow and rain, while the southern tier is expected to have a drier winter. Do you want more information on that? Well, let's talk to Mac Perez about this and along with the forecast. So why are we catching a break because of La Nina?
Well, everything they just said, I totally agree with, because that is the pattern. What happens is down here, the water is colder than normal, so the jet stream basically takes the storms up and over our area. Well, that gives us drier and warmer weather. Now tonight we've got this big storm and you can say, oh, this is coming right at us and give us a big rain. Not necessarily, but it is going to be riding up into the Rockies. That's good. It is going to knock down this high pressure, and next week we actually have a chance for some rain around here. We'll be talking more about that coming up a little bit later on. Don, back to you.
Mac, thank you. If you see news happening, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Secretary of State Marco Rubio designated 4 European Antifa groups in Germany, Italy, and Greece as terrorist organizations. The designations take effect next week, putting them in the same category as groups like ISIS and Al-Shabaab. Americans will be barred from providing material support. The move follows President Trump's push to target the Antifa movement and his executive order earlier this year, labeling it a domestic terrorist organization. President Trump today said he wants the Department of Justice to investigate convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's possible connections to prominent Democrats. His post on social media coming days after the House Oversight Committee released emails from the Epstein estate and also from Epstein that mentioned Trump by name. ABC's Olivia Rubin has been following these new developments all week.
Days before an expected vote on Capitol Hill to release the files held by the Department of Justice concerning Jeffrey Epstein, President Trump now directing criminal investigations into Democrats named in the files, despite his own name appearing multiple times. Trump ignoring questions from reporters about the records released this week.
Mr. President, can you respond to these Epstein emails that were released today?
But on social media today, Trump calling it a hoax, writing that he will ask the Attorney General, the DOJ, and the FBI to investigate, quote, Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, and Reid Hoffman. Those names and others appearing in Epstein's newly released emails this week, but Trump ignoring his own mentions. In one 2011 email, Epstein writing, I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Trump has denied any allegations of wrongdoing.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
And despite this new directive, earlier this year, DOJ and FBI saying their investigation, quote, did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
And Attorney General Pam Bondi has said she will follow the president's directive, saying she has asked the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York to take the lead on this investigation. That office, of course, already prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell and indicted Epstein before he died by suicide. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
Let's Grow Texas Ag is airing its 18th episode on KVCT, our sister station. On Monday, it will air at 9:35 p.m. and again on Sunday, November 30th at 5:30. In this episode, Joe Adams is at Goliad State Park, taking a look at the history of the Texas cattle trails. Round them up. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A new facility in Mexico helps protect Texas from a harmful pest. The surprising prevention method next. Plus, the shutdown ends, but the political fight continues. Republicans and Democrats clash over health care subsidies.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Victoria ISD, the Calhoun County Humane Society, the Salvation Army, and Theater Victoria.
It's a farce, so it's a very physical play. There's lots of slapstick, almost slapstick. There's lots of, there's 5 doors, so people are going in and out of doors like crazy. Lots of mistaken identity, lots of fun.
The campaign to prevent screwworm continues with the development of a new sterile fly facility in Mexico. The USDA reports the opening of the facility in Tampico, allowing the USDA to disperse sterile flies across northeastern Texas. That includes Nuevo Leon. The most northern point screwworm has been spotted. The sterile flies will prevent the population from growing. The USDA says it will disperse 100 million sterile flies per week in Mexico, and it plans to open another facility at Moore Air Base in Edinburgh by early 2026. The government shutdown is over, but the congressional battle over health care is not. And insurance costs for tens of millions of Americans are on the line. Karen Kafa is in Washington with a look at Capitol Hill's next battlefront and their deadline.
Days after the end of the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, Democrats still not giving up on their key demand.
The Affordable Care Act tax credits are scheduled to lapse on December 31st. And so we have about 45 days to get this done.
In exchange for some Democratic votes to reopen the government, Senate Republicans agreed to hold a separate vote on extending existing federal subsidies for some Affordable Care Act insurance plans beyond the end of the year. But there's no guarantee that vote will succeed or that House Republican leadership will act on it.
I'm not going to guarantee a vote on ACA unreformed COVID-era subsidies that is just a boondoggle to insurance companies and robs the taxpayer. We got a lot of work to do on that.
Without congressional action, some households face a spike in their premiums after December 31st.
The increase in the health premiums would be half of my income.
House GOP leadership is said to be eyeing a package that's unlikely to extend the subsidies but use other ways to reduce costs. Some House Republicans don't think that will come together in time, and at least a dozen are calling for an extension for now.
We're not going to make major fixes before December 31st. I think we owe it to the middle class and around the middle class to extend these tax credits, maybe with some reforms.
More than 24 million Americans rely on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces for health insurance. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Our own meteorologist and reporter Trey Mining was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2019. Since Trey has learned to live with the condition, learned more about it, and has recently completed surgery to help reduce the symptoms. So how is he doing and where does he go from here? Well, you can find out by attending a meeting where Trey will be the featured speaker. PAM Health Parkinson's Support Group. Next Wednesday, November 19th at noon inside the Gulf Bend Center Conference Room, 6502 Nursery Drive, 2nd floor. Everyone is welcome to attend. The ByHeart infant formula recall was expanded to include all batches of ByHeart Whole Nutrition infant formula cans and Anywhere pack nationwide. This decision was made in collaboration with the FDA despite the fact that no unopened ByHeart product has tested positive. The recall affects a small percentage of all infant formula sold in the United States and does not raise shortage concerns. The FDA and CDC are investigating the outbreak, which includes 15 infants with suspected or confirmed infant botulism from 12 states, including Texas. This week, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced that after 20 years, it's righting a medical wrong. In a key move, agency officials said they are taking steps to remove the black box warning on many hormone treatments for women with menopause symptoms. Maribel Gonzalez shows us how experts say this could change the way we treat women's health.
The black box warning is the strongest type of alert the FDA puts on a drug label. This new move to remove such labels from products that could help women deal with sometimes debilitating menopause symptoms follows calls to action and policies to improve menopause care at the state level.
The FDA is standing with science and standing with women.
In 2002, an outside panel of experts halted a large government-funded study called the Women's Health Initiative, citing concerns that the risks of taking a combination of estrogen and progesterone, such as a higher likelihood of certain cancers, outweighed the potential benefits to study participants. This prompted the FDA to order a black box warning on estrogen-containing therapies in 2003.
Black box warnings on HRT products discourage doctors from prescribing and patients from inquiring about these products. Those fears shape decades of medical guidance, family decisions, and FDA policy.
More than 2 decades later, the FDA is removing warning labels on many medications that could help women mitigate menopause symptoms.
Women have endured sleepless nights, derailed careers, painful sex, broken bones, and a loss of well-being, all because the science was misread.
Medical groups, including the American College of Obstetricians, have pushed for the removal of the warning label.
There's no doubt that women will feel better from hot flashes, from night sweats, from sleep disturbances.
But experts caution that not all hormone therapy carries the same risks.
It's really important that patients have a conversation with their physician about their specific risks. This does not open up, the can so everyone should go out and run and get a hormone replacement therapy prescription.
The label changes will also include updated age-specific guidance on systemic hormone therapy. It could take several months for these updates to take effect. Reporting in Los Angeles, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
A New Jersey man's unexplained death has now been linked to a rare red meat allergy triggered by tick bites. The 47-year-old father collapsed last year and an autopsy could not find a cause. A doctor friend contacted a University of Virginia immunologist who first identified the tick-related allergy. The family later learned the man had been bitten by dozens of seed ticks on a camping trip and got sick after eating hamburgers at a cookout. The CDC says hundreds of thousands may have what's called alpha-gal allergy. This is believed to be the first documented death linked to it. To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Another warm day over the Crossroads. 80 degrees right about now. The winds weren't too bad, but they were probably in the 15 to 20 mile an hour category earlier in the afternoon. Our high temperature, well, let's see, it came in at 85. That's a far cry from the 74 we're supposed to be getting. Remember, it's November. Well, the temperatures are going to stay on the mild side through the weekend and next week, but we also do have a chance for some rain. We'll talk about that coming up after this. Welcome back, everybody. We got some video for the LA freeways. They're pretty treacherous on a good day, and on a bad day, well, it's a real problem. Southern California right now is going to get about 5 inches of rain, which is ridiculous for them because they only get 10 to 12 inches of rain for the year. So you can imagine what the freeways are like right about now. The reason I'm showing you this is because that storm is going to have something to do with us next week. And so we'll just keep our fingers crossed that we can get something going. For the short term, for the weekend, it's going to be good. I mean, no complaints, really. You're going to have warm weather in the 80s. You're going to have a little bit of a breeze. You're going to be outdoors. You're going to be doing some gardening work, and maybe you're going to do a little last chance for grilling for the summer because that south wind keeps us on the warm side and on the breezy side. High pressure is over us, and that's why we're so warm. You see it right about there. Now, that storm that I was telling you about is this one. And this one is strong enough to knock down this high pressure. And when this system basically comes across Texas next week, we do have a shot at getting something going here. We need the rain. We need some precipitation rolling through. Here's the big deluge that's happening on the West Coast. Of course, the good news is they need the rain too. They just didn't want it all in one day. And of course, they're getting snow at the higher elevations as well. Southerly winds be blowing tomorrow, probably in the 20-mile-an-hour range during the afternoon hours, but they'll settle down at night, and overall mild evenings and sunny warm days. No major problems there. We're looking at our low temperatures tonight, only down to about 60, 61. And then tomorrow we're looking for abundant afternoon sunshine. Temperatures getting up to 86 for us, 88 up in Cuero, and 87 out in Gonzales. So almost summer-like, as a matter of fact, right on through the weekend. Let me show you the long-term picture. Now we're down here, right? Okay. And this is Friday, and here's that storm I was telling you about. Well, for Saturday, no major event. Nothing changes for us. For Sunday, you can see how that storm does slam ashore, starts coming into the mountainous areas, and we've got nothing for Sunday. But on Monday, all of a sudden, a little light rain possible. On Tuesday, a good shot at getting some shower activity in Texas. And then on Wednesday, when all that lower pressure arrives here, bam, yeah, Texas finally gets a little much needed rainfall after what, about a 2-week time period of nothing. This is a really good storm actually for the mountainous areas of the Southwest and all of our rivers as well. And there you see the bulk of the activity should be on Thursday. So next week, Thursday, wet with some good rain, and then that one passes through by Friday. And the interesting part is that we have another storm developing out west that could follow the same path. So at least we got something on the horizon. That's the good news that I have for you today. So for those of you down along the coast in Calhoun County, looking at a pretty good looking day tomorrow. You could even go do a little fishing, maybe go down to Magnolia Beach, looking at a high of about 83. Indianola is also a great place to go. We're looking for sunny skies, inland areas getting up to about 86 in Cuero. And get a load of this. While we're warm for the weekend, we start picking up clouds. Wednesday, Thursday, hopefully is our best shot at getting some much needed rainfall here in the Crossroads. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Have a great weekend, and here's Don.
Mac, thank you. And up next on 25 News Now at 5, smart Thanksgiving shopping can save you money. Experts reveal which items to buy and which to avoid. The stock market closed mixed today. The Dow Jones fell 309 points. That's about 2/3% down. The S&P 500 was nearly unchanged, slipping just over 3 points. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq gained 30 points, finishing at 22,900. Oil prices also climbed, rising $1.40 to $60.09 per barrel. Turkey Day is right around the corner, and although the cost of food remains high overall, prices for many Thanksgiving menu items have fallen. ABC's Christian Cordero has more on the cost of the big meal and tips on how to save.
This Thanksgiving, affordable prices are back on the menu. The Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute Thanksgiving Food Report shows many of the holiday's popular dishes are slightly down in cost compared to last year.
Most retailers are not surprised by Thanksgiving arriving. They have prepared many months in advance. They're working with their suppliers and they're negotiating pricing for the benefit of the consumer.
Starting with the star of the show, the turkey.
Turkey price is a little bit price neutral. They've gone down a bit. We actually see the national brands down about 3.7% year over year.
As for your sides, stuffing, gravy mix, and fresh cranberries all dropped between 3 and 4%. Private brand dinner rolls saw the biggest savings this year with a 22% price decrease. But when it comes to your veggies,
big spikes in some of the potatoes. So russet potatoes, sweet potatoes, we do see some price increases there. That's one of the areas where we are seeing some price increases. Fresh vegetables as well. So again, if you want to incorporate frozen vegetables rather than fresh, or just kind of pick and choose based on what sort of deals you see at your grocery store.
Hopefully you aren't too full for dessert. National brand pumpkin pies are down 3%.
Where I do see an increase in costs is with the whipped cream to go with the pumpkin pie. And that is right in line with what we're seeing with dairy prices right now.
To get the most savings, try mixing and matching between private and national brands and cook up your shopping plans ahead of time.
Everyone is trying to get the consumer in the door. Turkey tends to be a loss leader for many retailers, but find out where they have specials, shop around, shop early, and you'll have the best opportunity to get the best deals.
Christiane Cordero, ABC News.
Walmart is about to enter a new era. The retailer announced Friday its CEO is retiring next year. Doug McMillon started off as a store associate and climbed the ladder to eventually become CEO in 2014. Since then, the company's stock has risen 300%. John Furner, who heads Walmart's U.S. operations, will take over as company CEO in February. McMillon will stay on board until next summer and will be an advisor to Furner through the 2027 fiscal year. eBay, one of the internet's original shopping sites, is reinventing itself with new AI tools. After losing ground to Walmart in 2020, the pandemic helped boost the company's traffic. Now, eBay is building on that momentum, rolling out 5 AI features this year, including smarter shipping estimates, a shopping chatbot, and a partnership with OpenAI. The strategy appears to be paying off. eBay stock is up 75% since 2020, and this year its gains are outpacing Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon. We're back in a moment. Researchers find a creature with a devilish appearance. The discovery creating a buzz.
Tonight, the growing pressure to release all the Jeffrey Epstein files as President Trump pushes back. Plus, tracking a dangerous storm, heavy rain, flash flooding, and possible mudslides. Residents under evacuation warnings. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America. Scientists have discovered a new bee species with horns
What was named Megachile lucifer was found in a remote part of Western Australia. A native bee expert originally made the discovery in 2019 during a survey in the Bremer Ranges region. The new report finds that only the female bees have what they call demon-like horns. The scientist tells the Washington Post that the function of the horns it's unclear. But she speculates they may be used to fight off competition for nesting sites. Okay. A full report about the bee species was published Monday in the Journal of Hymenoptera.
Yep.
It was published.
Yeah, in a research paper.
As a research paper that was published.
But the horn on the female bee is a replacement for the rolling pin. That's what it is, you know.
I never thought of that. Maybe it was published in the Babylon Bee. That's why I got confused.
You got confused.
All right, let's not confuse things about the weather this weekend. So are we going to be spoiled again?
You're spoiled rotten this weekend because you're going to be outdoors. You're going to be doing a little gardening. I guarantee you. You're going to be outdoors and doing a little leaf raking and all that stuff. It'll be great to be outdoors this weekend. We're looking at 86 on Saturday and Sunday. But the best news of all is that in the middle of next week, we start picking up a little bit of a storm coming in from the west that hopefully will give us some much needed rainfall. By Thursday, I think, will be the peak of that storm system. So let's hope for the best and enjoy the weekend while we can.
Now, is that storm from the west, is that what we've been talking about that's really been very rainy and other things?
It's the LA storm right now. It's a huge 5-inch 10-inch rain. It won't be that strong when it gets here.
Oh, okay.
It'll weaken, but it'll be the system that breaks everything down and hopefully gets us some rain.
All right, thank you, Mac. Thanks for watching. Next newscast in 30 minutes after World News Tonight with David Muir.